So he said not everyone has Apple TV Plus. Well, in a desperate attempt to try and make sure that people had HBO Max, just decided to go and burn every possible bridge that they had. And another one is coming back to bite them in the butt. Yes, bridges can bite now. And that is Village Roadshow. The co-financers and the people that helped create the Matrix Resurrection, the new Matrix reboot, are currently suing Warner Brothers for damages and lost revenue because they are claiming that due to HBO Max's day and date release of Matrix Resurrection supposed in theaters and on the streaming platform, it made them miss a lot of their potential revenue, which I'm just going, you know what made you miss a lot of your revenue even more? Having this movie come out so freaking late compared to Matrix Reloaded. No, Reload is the sequel. See, the sequels don't matter. Something R.
It's something R.
Well, I don't want to say like Matrix Rebooted, which probably actually would have been a better name for this, but I think part of the reason Matrix flopped, and I will call Matrix a flop. That's it. I will say part of the reason Matrix flops, and I will call it a flop, is you waited too long. 2, I don't think there was as much of a demand for it as Warner Bros. Was expecting. 3, you only got one of the Wachowski siblings back, and even then, the Wachowskis were already on shaky ground after movies like Jupiter Ascending and Cloud Atlas. And the last point is you were completely right to sue here, Village Roadshow, because, yeah, streaming absolutely hurt it. I have never been a fan of Jason Clark, who's the guy currently running Warner Brothers, that more or less blindsided everyone and said that they're going to do the day and date with HBO Max release. So I'm hoping with David Zaslav taking over with the Warner Discovery merger that Jason Clark hits the road, because he did so many stupid mistakes and burned so many bridges. They have every right to do this. Now, I was kind of surprised that they didn't do this earlier, but at the same time, it makes sense. I think they wanted to see how much they could actually make it the box office of like, okay, maybe it won't have an impact. Like Black Widow still did okay, but that was clearly hurt too, and we saw legal action being taken there. Whereas other things like, what was something? Halloween Kills aired day and date, but still did well at the box office. There could be a lot of factors to that, but I think number one factor that Peacock's release didn't hurt Halloween Kills is a lack of subscribers on Peacock. Like, Peacock is a good service, but it's definitely doesn't have the numbers that it would actually draw away a box office. This is just another embarrassing look for Warner Brothers of like, how do you piss off this many people? Like, it's also funny to me of, this was the last movie to come out on that day and date release schedule for 2021 for Warner Brothers. So they're just like, all right, guys, half of our body's on fire, but we made it past the finish line. And then Matrix just taps him on the shoulder. You forgot one, and just punches him in the face type of thing of like lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit of how do you not consult with any of your partners whatsoever that you're making this? It would be like if Josh and I decided to monetize the podcast one day and overnight it makes tens of thousands of dollars, but I never told Josh about it. Like, you don't just cut out your partners that are more or less doing most of the work here.
Well, hold on. I know. Let's be clear on one thing. I do not do a fraction of the work.
True.
Unfortunately. But let's flip it. It'd be like if I monetized the podcast and I made a ton of money off of all your work and just didn't say anything.
I would absolutely have legal ground for that.
Absolutely. But like, and I think that the easy argument here, of course, is to be like, well, just make a better movie and it won't flop. That's not our problem.
The Suicide Squad was great and that flopped.
Yes. But so like, because like they only made 37 million in the US and they only made 150 million worldwide. So it's like, that's, especially on a movie whose budget was like 190 million, like that's not making your money back. I can do math, I promise. But like it just there it's when it came to like movies like Black Widow too, it was okay, no, that was not in the contract in which we signed to make our movie with you. That was not, you can't just flip the script on us and be like, oh yeah, but you're still going to get paid. And I hear everybody being like, yeah, they still got paid millions of dollars. I'm like, yes, but that's not the problem here. The problem is broken contracts. It's hey, wait, no, you can't really do that. It's overworking people in order to make certain deadlines, but then not paying them enough money because oh well, it went to streaming, so it's not our problem. I just I think to me, could you imagine if somebody had had the balls to do something like this when Treasure Planet came out, and they were like, "Hey, man, no, Disney, you intentionally didn't market our movie, so we can
Oh,
sue you for damages." Like, whoa! Like, I think to me, this is a new wave, and a wave I appreciate, of creators keeping studios accountable, and that like, hey, yo, um just because I'm making a movie for you doesn't mean you get to be like, all right, cool, I'm going to market it however I want, and if I want it to do well, I'll market it well, and if I don't want it to do well, I'll not market it at all. Like John Carter, like Atlantis, like I just, there's this list of movies, and obviously I'm throwing a lot of shade at Disney on this, but it's, I think Warner has did it so blatantly here, in that like, yeah, cool, so we're just gonna release all these movies on streaming as well same day. It's like you said, like you're not gonna talk to your partners at all on this. You're not gonna like you're just gonna do it. Oh, okay, cool. I see. I think
cool,
you and
cool,
I
cool,
even
cool,
talked
cool,
about
cool,
like,
cool.
yeah, I see no way that this can come back and bite them. No way.
It's the dog meme. This is fine. Like,
This is fine.
it's just funny to me that like movie after movie has basically come back and sued Warner Brothers. Like Legendary had sued after Godzilla vs. Kong, even though that actually over delivered, I think, at the box office for what the uphill
Yeah.
battle that it had of not as good movies leading up to it and having the streaming issue. And I would not be surprised at all if the reason why James Gunn didn't get super mad at HBO Max is he already had a whole bunch of shows in development, which, y'all, I know Peacemaker may not be everyone's cup of tea, but this past week's episode was so good.
Oh, I need to watch. Gosh dang it.
And without saying for anything to Josh, all I'll say, Josh, is this week's episode of Peacemaker, at the end of the episode, that is actually John Cena doing the thing that you see him doing, which I think makes it actually that much more impressive and emotional. But how can you be this dumb time and time again? There's also other reports of, but I will just say this as speculation. There's no actual official trade saying this at the time that we're talking about this. So if other reports come out later, we can address it then. But supposedly, Matrix Resurrections was supposed to come out in 2022, but they bumped this movie up so that it would fall into the 2021 movie slate so they could put it on HBO Max day and date. I'm just going, somehow that feels worse. Like,
yeah, that's
just
super sketch.
I don't like how that feels, to which I'm just going, oh, thank God the Batman got delayed, because I need to see the Batman on its screen, and the Batman already has enough of an uphill battle, I think, with fans just going, we want it to be Ben Affleck, or it's Robert Pattinson, and Robert Pattinson isn't a good actor because I don't watch enough movies to know that he's a brilliant talent. Also, Josh, I need to send you the video after this, but you know those, like, I think it's like Wired does them, Wired or Vanity Fair, one of those of like career retrospectives. Robert Pattinson just did one of those, and he's such a fascinating interview. The dude is a little weird, and that's why he's perfect for Batman. But
he's a super weird dude.
But getting back to this of just like, this potentially could have been a franchise killer. Now, I'm not saying there would have been a Matrix 5 and 6 given the reception of 4, but you never know. If it was solely box office, maybe, but also maybe don't open your movie around one of the highest grossing movies in history in Spider-Man No Way Home. There's a lot of factors as to why Matrix failed, and I'm not trying to make excuses for Warner Bros., but at the same time, Warner Bros. Did this to themselves, and Village Roadshow have every right to sue, and I hope it doesn't just get settled out of court like the Legendary lawsuit did.
Or the Black Widow lawsuit. Like, I think it will at the end of the day. To me, at the end of the day, Warner Brothers will just be like, okay, cool. We're sorry. Here, take all this money. Because in the movie industry, if you have an issue, just throw money at it and it'll fix it, right? But I don't think that their reputation as a movie studio will come out of this unscathed, to be sure.